Chris, thank you for joining me today. And I hope that we get through this very, very smoothly.
One take.
Okay, one take will be fine. So can I just dive into these questions that I've
developed? Yeah, please do.
Okay, first of all, what are your personal fitness goals?
If you'd asked me that 12 months ago, I probably would have not really been able to answer the question. I think now my goals have probably changed. I think since COVID and lockdown, like a lot of people, my focus has been very much more on health. I think in the past, I'd like to go to the gym, throw some weights around, and did it for very different reasons to what I do now. I think now it's longevity, being able to exercise as I get a little bit older. Picked a few injuries up over the last couple of years, and I think now this year has given me an opportunity to fix some of those injuries, do a bit of rehab, have a little bit of time off, do some more cardiovascular stuff, because I think like a lot of guys want to look great in a t-shirt, but don't worry too much about what's underneath the t-shirt in terms of your heart. So yeah, more focused on fitness really.
Do you think that's more of a sense of maturity as opposed to COVID? It's when we hit a certain age, and I obviously I've noticed it myself, that things like my recovery time, my ideals, my goals changed. And I would put it down personally more to an age-related attitude.
Yeah, I think a couple of things changed. I'm saying it's COVID. It might not have been that. It might have been a couple of things at the same time. I started doing more tracking, using fitness trackers, Apple Watches and stuff like that. I've always done health checks in terms of blood tests and stuff like that on an annual basis. I've started to take more notice of them, if I'm honest. And you're probably right. It is probably an age thing as I creep towards the big 40, starting to look more at, can I still exercise in the same way that I do when I get to 50 and 60? So yeah, I would agree it is probably age related, to be honest.
And have you, in this time, let's just say, for example, has your diet changed significantly, or is it still the same?
No, I think like everyone, probably in the first lockdown, I think in the first lockdown was actually probably quite good. The second lockdown, it pretty much went out the window, and I was getting takeaways and cooking, bacon sandwiches on a Saturday morning and doing all that type of stuff, which to be honest was fun. My diet has always been pretty good. It's always been pretty balanced. I use a food prep company and have done for about 4 years. So my food's delivered to me. So it hasn't really changed. The only time it changes is when they change the menu. But in amongst that, I'll have periods of time where I don't do that. So lockdown was one of those periods of time. Certainly the second one in November. I just went a bit crazy, I think, and I think I'm back on track now with a reasonable balanced diet, I think.
And your fluid intake, is it coffees and teas to keep you going during the day, or is it water?
One coffee a day, usually. Tea here and there. I'm a northern lad, so we like our tea. But yeah, lots of water. Over 5 liters most days.
Wow.
Sometimes excessive amounts of water. I think because I'm a reasonable sized lad, get quite hot, tend to sweat a lot. I get that water back in, and training sessions as well. Can easily do 3 liters in a training session.
And how many sessions a week are you actually training?
At the moment, I do 2 sessions of cardio, so 2 runs and 3 muscular strength and endurance. So a push-pull routine and then legs. So a lot less than what I would have done in the past. And actually, from a maintenance point of view, I'm really enjoying that, because rather than spending 6-7 hours in the gym a week, probably spending 4-5 hours in the gym. My cardio sessions are usually 30 minutes, 35. Don't run to excess. About 2 5Ks a week usually, and then my weight sessions, as it were, would be nowhere near what they used to be. Maximum of about 3 hours a week. So.
And is that working for you? Is that working for you in a way that you want it to right now?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it feels like I've finally I've been training for like 20 odd years now, and I think I finally got that balance of being, it's very easy to get a bit obsessed with exercise and movement, and I think I've got that balance of having a nice lifestyle, feeling good in my body, in my own skin, shirtless on the beach, feel great about that. Where I think in the past where I was a bit obsessed with looking a certain way, where now I realise, I look great at 40 or almost 40, and I can sustain that with those 3 sessions a week and a little bit of cardio. So yeah, pretty happy.
So the big question is, are you going to be participating in the Hood Fitness yourself?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't started my training for that yet, actually. I think I need to start to incorporate some of those movements. They're all pretty simple things, so I should be okay. But yeah, I'm definitely going to train for it.
I have a question here that I think that it's a $6 million question. How can we encourage people, inactive people, to become more active? And I'm talking about generally here.
Yeah. I think removing the stigma around, I think people think of exercise as lifting weights or doing a class or running, and a lot of people are quite fearful of that. And actually, the reality is, as well as I do, exercise is any time that you move. It's about getting people off the couch, walking, dancing, gardening. All of those things are exercise. So I think if we remove that that label that a lot of people have, exercise is going for a run and getting sweaty and no pain, no gain, and all that type of thing. I think we need to remove that, and get people to realize that actually going for a long dog walk or going for a lovely walk along the river or whatever is exercise. It might be very different to lifting weights, but it is exercise. And I think when we get to that point, the next stage is then getting them to get into the gym and do a little bit of exercise. That's, that type of exercise, I guess, the more, more formal type.
Do you like the idea of the Hood Fitness being tied into UK Active and becoming more of a community event as opposed to David Lloyd being a private club? Do you like the idea of actually involving David Lloyd into the community?
Yeah, I think as a club, as a company, we always like to be involved in community, in our local communities. As a club, we've always wanted to. It's something for me that's very close to my heart. I think you are part of the other community in the same way the butcher is, the baker is. That's a very old school way of looking at it, but we definitely are. And yeah, I think it's a great thing to get people involved. And even if it's once a year, twice a year, we get all of the local health fitness businesses together. We should be working together, shouldn't we?
There should be a collaboration at least once a year.
Absolutely, at least once a year. And it doesn't have to be, there's plenty of members out there for us. There's plenty of people out there that are going to come and want to join our businesses. There's no need for it to be so competitive, which I think some local businesses probably think it is. So yeah, I think it's great.
Well, you share the same thought process as someone not as big as yourself, but fairly big, Nuffield. They have the same attitude that you do, that they actually want, although they're a private members club, they really see the importance of involving the community, reaching out to more people. And I know there are a lot of people that can't afford a club membership, but it shouldn't prevent them from exercising. No. And I believe that events like this, if once it's filmed and once it's shown to the general public, we are hoping here that, I'm sure you're hoping, will engage more people. It's not just about, we're not looking to actually increase your membership. We're looking to actually increase the health of Hammersmith and Fulham. And in the hope that other local authorities and other areas and other gyms will actually see, hey, this Hood Fitness or this idea of collaborating once a year can actually work in every borough in the UK. And we see this very much as a pilot, and that's what excites us, that someone such as yourself has agreed to it, and David Lloyd have kindly opened up their app, for that period of time, which I think is really quite exceptional. Chris, this is a question that I asked you some time ago when we first met one another. How do you promote fitness to the older adults that are joining your gym?
I think we've always been pretty popular with, I'm not talking about Fulham necessarily here, but I'm talking about David Lloyd in general.
Yes.
The youngsters don't remember who David Lloyd was, and his tennis accolades in the 80s. A lot of older members do. So actually, I think we're well promoted in that, and people know who we are already. If you're asking how do we get that age group more active, or how do we promote getting fit to that age group? Is that what you're asking?
Yes,
Or
I
how do
am.
we promote? Yeah, I think as a society, how we promote that is going back to what I said earlier on, really, is removing those barriers of, fitness being a scary thing to do and, being painful. I think there's a lot of work in the fitness industry to remove that, to remove, because it's a nonsense, isn't it? It's, fitness isn't painful, doesn't have to be painful. You don't wake up aches and pains after an exercise session, or you shouldn't. So it's about removing those barriers, really. If we're talking about marketing, that's a completely different thing.
No, that's completely different. Yeah. In your own personal experience, would you like to see some more mature personal trainers on the floor?
At the moment, one of the things that we're looking for as a business, and I have been looking for a long time in Fulham, is that 50, 60-year-old who maybe has had a business in the past or a job, and wants to change their lifestyle and wants to get into, and do something different after they've semi-retired or retired. I'd love to see that in my club. I actually there's a very business motivated one,
yes,
which is our members are at that age group. So if you want to identify with someone, do I identify with the 21-year-old who has perfect health and perfect fitness, or do you identify more with the person who's your age group? Well, it's going to be the person most of the time that you're in your age group. But also, I just think it would give my club a different dimension as well. We've got a very young team, and I think it would give that, maturity within the team. So yeah, that's something that I definitely promote in my club. It's just actually finding someone. To be honest, we've not quite got there in the years that I've been at the club.
And given what's happening, the pandemic, do you think that gyms will be able to resume their role in the fitness world?
For people to work out at home, but I very much believe that the fitness industry is now actually going to see record numbers and record members joining across all of the people in that industry, whether it's your local authority, your budget operators, or your slightly more expensive operators like ourselves. Yeah, I think we're going to see a big push, because I think genuinely people have got a little bit scared and realize that health is really, really important, and you're more likely to be able to fight these nasty bugs off if you are fighting fit and you've got a great immune system. So yeah, I think it's still going to have a role to play alongside people exercising from home, and there's scope for people to do all of that. I mean, we as a business, our off-site operation, so we've got a massive team now who just look after that at-home part of our business, and what's great about that is we've actually in Fulham we've opened that up to everyone. So anyone in anyone in the UK can use the at-home app as part of the David Lloyd app for free. There's massive resources on that.
I remember you when we spoke about that, which I thought was excellent. When you said that
it's something that we've not pushed as much as we probably could, because as you can imagine, we've been closed for a little while, and we've only been open for 10-12 weeks. Our focus has been very much operational and making sure we look after the people that are coming through our doors. But we will get to the point where we start promoting that for everyone, really, because we think it's important if we're putting a resource out there that people are using it. So yeah, in answer to your question, I definitely think there's a part to play. I think it's a different part. I think it's changed a little bit, but I think the fitness industry is going to go from strength to strength in the coming years.
How do you go about finding a good gym teacher, a group class
If you're
teacher.
talking about how do we go about, so what's our process?
Because some people teach, so sorry, Chris, some people teach the same class every time they go in front of their members, and it can become repetitive and boring. They don't know how to switch it up. They don't know how to look at the audience in front of them and think, I'm going to do a little twist here, or the people that have been there regulars, keep them coming,
so
keep them excited.
What's happened in the fitness industry probably about the last 10 years is most classes now are set formats, and they change over the weeks, over the months. We have signature products as David Lloyd, so we have 4 signature products. We actually have 6 signature products, but we have 4 in my club, and they have a big team behind them that put the choreography together for those sessions. They put the lesson plans together, they're taught, and they're sent out. There is some clubs out there, and we do have some classes that we teach. So if it's a HIIT class, or if it's something quite generic, it will be down to the instructor to just pick that up and do a lesson plan. I'd like to think most of my guys are, or quite a lot of people in the industry now, are very good at putting something that's going to be fun and interesting. But in terms of how we do it, we have signature products that follow a certain pattern. So if you come to the class 3 times in the same week, it won't be the same, because that is not what we want. We want people to have variety, and we don't want to, hit your upper body 3 times in the same week. We want to hit your lower body, your upper body, and it does change basically.
Well, I can honestly,
if that answers your question.
I know it does answer my question, although I'm not a class person or a gym person. I do listen to members talking about the classes. I do listen to people talking about the club, and personally, as clubs go, I'm very happy with David Lloyd. I'm one of these people that normally flits from club to club, but I've been there consistently, as you know, for the last 5-6 years. And I see it as a home, and I think personally, post-COVID, all of the members will return. That's my thought. Everyone that was there before, they will return.
Not getting into too much detail in terms of where we are as a business, so it's not my place to talk about that, but we're back up to the number that we had pre-COVID, barring maybe 100 members, and I can see by the end of this month we'll probably be back to where we were pre-COVID, which is fantastic. Doesn't take away the year of pain we've just had. No. But yeah, I can see, the business is definitely heading in the right direction. In terms of classes and, how we make sure that classes aren't boring. We review them. So we have someone who coordinates the timetable and goes into those classes. We have mystery shoppers that go into those classes. We have friends and family. We have people like yourself who are, friends of the club that would give us feedback. Obviously, I know that you don't go into classes, but, we get that. We get a wealth of feedback on a daily basis, really. And that helps us to give feedback to the instructors, to support the instructors, to change the program if we need to. So there's a ton of ways we do that, really.
Well, I have to say, Chris, that doesn't surprise me what you just said, because from what I've seen at the club in my own humble and personal experience, is I've seen consistency. I've seen consistency over a period of time, and that can only be a good thing. So Chris, thank you so much for your time today. And Hood Fitness, we're going to put I've got to tell you, Chris, while we're up live, we're putting together a team of over 60s, and we intend to bounce your asses all the way back to wherever you are.
I'm not looking forward to that.
We're putting together a team of over 60s to take on all you young hoods.
I don't doubt that will happen, to be honest. Based upon you, if you've got a team of people like yourself, then we're in trouble, I think.
Stop it. Chris, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Wayne.